Hey guys, welcome. This is your October 2025 Love Tarot Monthly Energy Update. So I'm going to do a tarot spread for the whole month. This is time-stamped, so you can jump to that if you so desire. But I'm going to start off with Messenger of Spirit Oracle, followed by the Astrology for the month of October, and then when I get to the tarot spread, as we move through each week of the month for your person, your beloved, you and your connection, it will all kind of come together for you, okay? I've tried a couple different ways to sort of organize this, and I think this way works best. So let's jump in with Messenger of Spirit, get a message for us to support us through this month of October, all signs, all zodiac signs. Let's see. There we go. Angels. It's so true. Card 32. Angels, you are supported. Divine intervention is at play. Okay, so those of you who either work with your angels, you probably have a great more facility. I'm not as well versed on that, but the more and more that I do this work, the more I feel the divine intervention, and it's coming from somewhere. So the key words for this card are divine intervention, support, emanating energy. And it says the angels are around you, supporting your new ventures and ideas. You know that thought that keeps popping into your mind over and over? Your angels are encouraging you to say yes, and they want you to know that they're assisting you. Divine intervention is at play here. When nothing seems to be working out, and it does at the last minute, your angels are looking out for you. Your angels ask you to focus on the energy that you're emanating. Set your intention for healing, protection, positivity, and love. Visualize these energies as colors around you. Focus on the vibe you're sending out as what you put out into the universe returns to you. So, the angels here have appeared. The answer to any question you may be asking right now is you are supported. They're working with you. The angels are working with you. You want to emanate, put out the energy you want to see in your life, and they will help you manifest it into physical form. Now, this is really important because we have a powerful full moon at 13 degrees of Aries on the overnight here on the East Coast between the 6th and the 7th. So Monday, late Monday night, close to midnight into Tuesday. For most of the world, it will be Tuesday the 7th. I think it's Tuesday, yes? Let me double check. Yeah. It's a powerful full moon, and it tests our relationships. It's in Aries. And then we have later in the month the new moon in Libra. So Aries and Libra are the polarity of relationship. It's I and we, self and the other. And there are the new moon, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute, has something happening within it that will speak directly to that message from your angels, that if you've got a new idea or a new direction or something that you're kind of like on the fence about, they're supporting you and saying, go for it, go for it, go for it. And that will make sense in a minute. So I'm reading from my notes here. Last month we talked about, or maybe it was in July, I was talking about the hot summer. And we had a lot of planetary movements, a lot of energetic shifts. We had the eclipse season. We had, the equinox in there to try to bring balance as we moved into Libra season. But that hot And when I mean hot, I mean temper, like the tone. Fiery, spicy would be another word. It's winding down. Neptune is ending the grand sextile that I talked about last month, later in the month of October, by returning to his home sign of Pisces. So it was really kind of Neptune being in Aries that may have kicked up a lot of that spiciness. So this may ease some of the outer world intensity and cool some ideological fires, for lack of a better word. Though, in these unprecedented times, we'll just have to wait and see on that. Stick a pin in it. It's kind of hard to imagine the world quieting down right now, isn't it? But it might. Mercury enters the shadow of his next retrograde, which will happen in November. So he's going to enter his pre-shadow here in this month. Pluto is going to station direct this month. And the usual personal planet shifts, right? Ingress into new signs, and the lunations will keep the month moving. But other than that, all quiet on the Western Front. So the first week, here we are, is relatively quiet until we hit that full moon at 13 degrees of Aries on the 6th. It's going to test our relationships while helping us either release excess fire or channel it into some action. Okay? So that's good to keep in mind. If you've been very overburdened by all the hotness in relationship dynamics, this full moon will be a vehicle to release that. If the fire wasn't so much the problem, but the getting it going somehow, and I'm talking about relationships here, all of them, then you get the second benefit, which is to set some things in action, to get things moving. So that's good. Then the very next day, Mercury enters Scorpio, and communication can sharpen a bit with Mercury and Scorpio, get a little more intense. But the themes will be around change and transformation. Growth, change, and transformation. Think of the death card. How I interpret that card is less about death and rebirth and more about growth, change, and transformation. What needs to change? What needs to be, what do we need to let go? What do we need to release so that we can transform? On October 13th, Venus will move into Libra, which is one of her ruling signs. And after her travels through Virgo's healing terrain, she kind of cleaned house in our hearts. It was very mind, body, spirit, alignment, healing, balance. And when she moves into Libra, we sort of open energetically a little more easily toward trust, connection, and letting love lead. So still in Virgo right now, but by the 13th, in the next 10 days, moving into Libra, will kind of find us a little cleared out of our cynicism in matters of the heart, so that we can be more open or willing, I'll say that, more willing to let love lead. So that's a nice feeling. It's a nice shift. That same day, on the 13th, Pluto stations direct at 1 degree, 22 minutes of Aquarius, which means he's retrograde right now and is going to turn around, station direct on that day. Now, we don't really notice that shift in our day-to-day, but Pluto's forward motion signals that first step toward next year's grand sextile that's going to unfold from February through November. That's a little dicey, but just know that, Pluto is sort of the great transformer. rules Scorpio, by the way. Turning around and stationing direct. You know how we've been feeling? Many of you have said, I've been feeling like everything that's happening in the world is like regressive. It's going backwards. Pluto stations direct, starts to move forward, and there is going to be a grand sextile coming up next year, February through the following November, and sextiles is like potential, it's supportive energy for potential. So we may start feeling ourselves getting back in line societally in terms of things like feeling like, okay, that's more like it. All right, we're moving forward. Okay, this will work. We're seeing some change. We're seeing some growth. We're seeing a little bit of transformation. And then when we get into 2026, that February through November, there will be some very supportive energies that Pluto is a part of. And he's kind of kicking it off here by getting into direct position. I hope that leaves you sitting on the edge of your seat. More to come. Then we have the new moon at 28 degrees of Libra on the 21st of October. And that's going to invite setting intentions for love, relationship desires, greater balance, peace, harmony. There is for that new moon at the 21st what we call a grand water trine. Think of trine as a triangle. So 3 planets in water signs kind of connecting to each other in really lovely, supportive flow state energy. Okay, just think of that. And there's a yod also present. I've talked about yods before, but I'll let you know what that kind of, in addition to the grand trine, which is great, we have a yod. And the yod is where we have sort of 2 sextiles, 2 planets that kind of are forming a sextile to each other. And then there's like this long point to another planet. So it's sort of this very elongated triangle from one side of the chart pointing to the other. And the 2 that are sort of here in the sextile energy, you could think of as the motor. All right. And then the point is where we're being moved to. And a yod is also called finger of God, finger of fate, whichever, all 3 interchangeable. And so it's sort of pointing toward a new direction, which is why this Oracle card is so fabulous. And it's incremental changes that we're making. As we set intentions, you're not just going to want to set it for the immediate. Set it for the immediate, set it for next month, kind of give yourself the 1 month, 3 month, 6 month sort of trajectory, like what you'd like to see unfold over a few points. So when you're setting intentions, get specific about that. Obviously, we can't manifest a person, but we can manifest energies we want to feel with and from a person. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. When I say specific, I mean specifically, what new ideas do you have? What kind of change would you like to see? What incremental growth is it that you intend to contribute to and to bring about? And that yod, that finger of fate, is guiding you there through that new moon. So it makes it powerfully creative lunation with potential for new directions after all we've endured through that hot summer, okay? And that is why I love the angels supporting you, especially around something that you've been wondering, should I do? And the answer is yes, do that thing, as long as it's positive and you take it step by step, because it's the small changes that we're going to make that are going to help that yod motor us to the right spot. Yeah, I think I said that the way I wanted to say it. Y'all get it. You're smart. Also on the 21st, so that's the new moon. Also on the 21st, Mercury's retrograde shadow begins on that day at 20 degrees of Scorpio. So Mercury will be in Scorpio as of October 7th. When we get to the 21st, he hits 20 degrees of Scorpio, and that's what I call it, like like the opening act. So he's going to continue moving forward, direct, all the way to 6 degrees of Sagittarius. That's going to be interesting. And then he's going to station retrograde and go back to 20 degrees. So the reason why I'm drawing your attention to the day of the new moon and when Mercury begins that first act is you want to be paying attention then. Start paying attention on the 21st to what you're thinking, to what you're perceiving, to what's happening in your communications, your conversations. Anything that kind of gets your attention. You go, oh, this is interesting. Write it down and do so all the way until it's sometime in November, but you'll probably hear that from me for November's monthly energy update, so that you get all the way to the 6 degrees of Sagittarius, and that's when the backward motion begins and we kind of get dragged over everything that we just came through. And having those notes in your calendar, this is my trick. This is how I keep my sanity. Having those little notes in your calendar, when it starts going backwards, you flip back to October and you're like, oh, all right, this happened. Okay, I'm going to revisit this. All right, because it helps you keep your head on straight. So that's my trick. Hope you find that helpful. And on the 22nd, the very next day, Neptune retrogrades back into the sign of Pisces. I already mentioned that, where he's been in Pisces since 2011. He had a few months in Aries and setting fires in the outer world. We all felt like we were turning around, constantly trying to put out another fire. And so we have that return to the internal landscape. Neptune in Pisces will bring us back to the knowing that we are one through how this plays out, how it plays out, in each unique astrological moment remains to be seen. So, there will be other things that happen, of course, astrologically speaking, that, the as above, so below, that might, not be favorable to all the calm and kumbaya of Pisces, of Neptune and Pisces, we are one, right? So the theory is it's more supportive toward calm and bringing the collective together for peaceful aims. But yeah, stick a pin in that too, because other things will happen along the way. The sun will enter Scorpio on the 23rd, and that season then deepens. The veil grows thin as this archetype represents death and rebirth. And it takes over the final week of the month and much of November that Pluto is ruling this season, and we could all use a little rebirthing right now. So that is really it. Once we get into Scorpio, the rest of the month of October is kind of calm. And we'll revisit all this when we move into November. Okay. So what I like to do now is the tarot spread. And the tarot spread is going to be laid out week 1, 2, 3, 4. Your person, you in the middle, your connection. We'll have an overall energy, and then I'll tie back in the astrology so that you kind of know what's happening when. So let's see what we get for October Love Tarot energy update for all zodiac signs. 6 of Cups, past life soulmate, beautiful. Warm, comfortable, energetically balanced on an emotional level. Let me pull the cards here for your person. For you. Oh my, good. Okay. And for the connection. Wow. Okay. I'll put this up here. So in week 1, you're kind of coming in here with, and remember, the top 2 rows can be reversed. So just take it as it resonates. I'm reading here for a giant collective of people. And so when I'm saying you might actually identify with the top row more than the middle row. That's fine. Just flip it. But I feel you're coming in here, 10 of Pentacles, very much focused on the future as we open this month. 10 of Pentacles, you know, wanting those blessings, wanting to grow a life with someone by your side. Your person, 7 of Cups. A little confused, possibly processing a lot of things on an emotional level. And for the connection, King of Swords, you might want to avail, this is actually Aquarian energy, you might want to avail yourself of the best aspect of the King of Swords is sort of higher ideals, standards, right? Lots of integrity, being honest, possibly to a fault, concerned with the greater good for all involved. But the King of Swords is also strategic. So if you bump up against a person's sort of like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, or if they're seeming kind of like emotionally wrung out because there's so much that they're processing, all the options that they're weighing and considering, and you're sort of solid on, I know what I want. That's okay. That's not the problem. That's, you know, we're talking about 2 people that have likely got a past life connection here. So you want to sort of foster that and be maybe a little bit more strategic. Your person may actually seem a little aloof and distant, but that's more part and parcel of the fact that they've got a lot going on in their mind, in their heart, all at once. And when we move into week 2, they've got the 2 of Wands, which is great because that's choosing the path. That's them finally saying, okay, enough of this. What do I really want? What do I really want? And that's a point where we've got some good communication with this Knight of Swords. That's your signal to kind of get in there fast, to be sure you understand each other, that your communication is clear, that you get to speak your piece, and also listen in return. Okay, because as we move into week 2, Venus will move into Libra, which is a sister air sign to this. This is Gemini's energy. And Pluto goes direct in Aquarius, another sister air sign. Yeah, so I feel like it's week 2 where all the mental energy, all the communication has to be clear, and help this person to sort of figure out what path they really want to be walking. And in the connection, Ace of Swords. And that's where I feel the benefit of the King of Swords comes through. Oh, I see it so clearly. There you go, right? It's that instant sort of gift that we're handed from Spirit, the new opportunity for looking at it in a new way. And it feels very much like it's coming from a little bit of the strategery of the King of Swords, that you jump on it in that second week when you feel this person shifts out of confusion, which is all water, right, and into some more fire, determination to kind of choose the path. What do I want? Desire, right? That's all fire. And that's when you come in and you're like, all right, let me make sure you understand where I'm coming from, and please help me understand where you're coming from. And then it's like, boom, all the light bulbs come on for the connection. That seems great. Moving into week 3, your person now shifts into high gear. Once they've got what they want, they're like, nothing's going to stop me. They're grabbing that Ace of Wands from Spirit. It is super amped. It's like, this is it. It's go time. They might want to, sort of ignite something between the two of you, take it up a notch. But you're going to shift, you're downshifting into Queen of Swords. So this is Libra energy, and it's kind of just as we're leaving Libra season and moving into Scorpio season that you get very, very wise, very, very level-headed, because your person has gone from confusion to what do I want to, oh hell, I must have it now. And you're kind of like, okay, let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's find the balance. This is, we have the new moon in Libra. So that's kind of what this feels like in the third week, 21st. And we have, Venus will have been in Libra since the 13th. So we close out week 2 with Venus moving into Libra. We move in week 3 with the new moon in Libra, and it just feels like that's where you're going to get all your energy from. That Libra archetype of balance, peace, harmony, keeping a lid on things, everything nice and comfortable. Whew. And in the connection, it will be reflected in your communication. So I really feel you'll be guiding most of the communication from that level-headed, sort of a little non-emotional, but more circumspect point of view. Like, you'll be the voice of reason. Oh my gosh, this is great. And then moving into week 4, your person gets the memo, 7 of Pentacles. That's good, because in 7 of Pentacles, it's the seeds are being planted and we're allowing things to evolve more organically. We have more patience. And you've got the 9 of Pentacles, which is, I'm glad I didn't get lost in all of that. The 9 of Pentacles, independent, autonomous, very much a manifester, kind of, confident. I already said independent, right? Yeah. Now, 9 of Pentacles has a interpretation of being the single person of the tarot. That's okay, because it's just, to me, that you're going to close out the month when everything starts to ramp up in Scorpio energy and gets intense. You're going to want that individuation. So you're not going to want to get too enmeshed and too much riding highs and lows. You're going to take it from Queen of Swords and stay nice and steady into the end of the month, while your person is calming down a bit. And in the connection, we have the 10 of Wands. Now you might think, wow, that 10 of Wands doesn't feel like a good way to close out that fourth week of the month of October. But it's not showing up as the burden. It's showing up as the release of the burden, right? The release of the pressure. It's like pulling the pressure valve, and having everything go whoosh. So I'm seeing it as the closing, the offloading of negative energy, the sort of unburdening yourselves, the two of you liberating yourselves to some degree it's the 10 of Wands. So to me, it's like the end of the hot summer as we move into the cooler minds of fall. So that's what we've got. That's the over under, and I'm going to clarify that which I feel I want more information around. So let's see. We also have here the Knight of Swords is Gemini energy. Queen of Swords is Libra. The King of Swords is Aquarius. And those are the 3 signs. Notice, all air signs. And we're in an air month, right? We're in, like, moving through Libra season. We have Venus moving in and the new moon in Libra. So those are the factors that are being mainly displayed here. So lots of thoughts, perceptions, communication, misperceptions if they need to be ironed out. And then at the end of the month, we're like, phew, well, that was heavy. Glad that's over. So let's see the 6 of Cups. Page of Cups, beautiful. Hierophant, wow. 3 of Wands, yep. Definitely something coming toward you that feels more committed, sincere messages from the heart, something that feels very supportive, very tender, honest, reflective, because it's landing on the 6 of Cups. So if you've got this past life sort of aura about it in the connection, we're reflecting, we're looking at the sum total of everything we've come through in our connections and how we've got this, whether you stand in front of an officiant and say your I do's or not, doesn't matter, but there's something up-leveled about this month in your connection. Something very up-leveled that feels just generally more committed. You are coming into the month thinking about the long term. Can we go the distance? Can this relationship, lead to something long-lasting? I'm going to say yeah, because there's something coming in between you this month, between the two of you, that feels really tender and up-leveled and something maybe more committed. So keep that in mind. Cards from the bottom of the deck, guys, if you're new, welcome, are what you can't see. So I'm sort of giving you a little sneak peek. Sometimes it's playing out behind the scenes and you don't know it yet. And sometimes it's in your unconscious awareness and you can't see it yet. So that's why I pull from the bottom of the deck. Okay. So for your person, week 1 to week 2 looks tricky. So let's see the 7 of Cups to the 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands again. Okay. The Moon, and the 8 of Swords. So this person is going to be very preoccupied, since I am assuming here, and this won't be the case for all of you, but for the vast majority, that there have been communications about where is this going? Where is this headed? Do you want some, are you even, emotionally available for this relationship? Are you wanting to commit? Do you think about getting married? Do you, I think those themes have come up, and you're kind of solid, and this person is a little, maybe not confused, but a little overwhelmed. They've got some fears that sort of rise up, some anxieties. They've got this internal, like a locked position of, I don't know what to do here. Maybe overthinking everything on an emotional level, but also with that 8 of Swords internally in their unconscious awareness, not really knowing their next best step. And then we get to that second week and they're like, all right, I just got to figure out what I want. I have to, I got to stop jerking around. I got to figure it out. And that's where you're going to come in as this Knight of Swords with, kind of Johnny on the spot, with some great feedback back and forth, that Gemini energy that kind of keeps the conversation going so that you eventually get to the truth of the matter. And then this person gets there. Okay. They go from the Two of Wands to the Ace of Wands, and they're like, I'm going to grab that thing. So let's see week 2 to week 3 for this person. Eight of Cups, Nine of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. Wow. So I feel like as they're shifting out of the confusion and they get to this place where they're like, I got to make a decision. Like, am I out? Like, is this not working for me? Or do things feel pretty good? And with the Knight of Pentacles from the bottom of the deck, that's what ties into week 4's Seven of Pentacles with their patience, because the Knight of Pentacles understands, I don't have to get there tomorrow. I don't have to have it all figured out. I just have to know, I have to begin with the end in mind, kind of see what I'm aiming for. And if I have to, reverse engineer it. If not, just plan accordingly, move forward with intention. Be methodical and deliberate and intentional. Even maybe a little bit cautious at times. So that I get to where it is I want to land. And boom, then this Ace of Wands comes in, and it sort of is the impetus for that forward motion. It's the fire. It's the motivation, the inspiration, the desire. And it feels kind of like it ramps up. It gets this person, even though that Knight of Pentacles is there, it gets this person saying, yeah, things are really good. I really like how this feels. I've got a lot of emotional comfort here and balance and satisfaction. Things feel really good. Please note, the Nine of Cups can be an energy of, this is good. I like how this is. And sometimes it gets lulled into complacency. Not with the Ace of Wands, it won't. And that's why you got to come in then and kind of calm everything down, get it all back to center. Okay, look at her steering the boat. And bring this person back to some like, okay. This is going to grow on its own. It's evolving. I just have to be open to that and willing to allow things to grow without sabotaging it or stopping it because I get scared or nervous or, anxious. So I feel they kind of close out the month in the right headspace to sort of keep you from going off the cliff as we move into Scorpio season. For you, I understand the Ten of Pentacles. I'm sure you do as well. That second week to third week feels like it's all going to be coming from your mental, your ability on a mental level, a perceptual level to kind of know the wave this person is riding, right? And catch them at the right time. Let's see, Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, week 2 to week, yes, there's the Fool, Four of Cups, Judgment, woo, oh my gosh, okay, and I'm going to also pull, because I'm seeing a story here, Queen of Swords to the Nine of Pentacles for you. Nine of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and an extra card for the Nine of Pentacles, please. Queen of Cups, good. So, week 2 to week 3, we have you here coming in as this person is in that Two of Wands energy. And whatever it is that you have to share, whatever truth or clarity you start to feel a sense of urgency to communicate, you're just going to have to go for it, right? That's why it's the Knight of Swords. It moves fast. It feels like the time is of the essence. Can't like rest on my laurels. Got to go. Got to jump in here. And it may also be that what you speak about with this person is about anything that may feel to either of you like, where is the disillusionment? Where is it that you feel any kind of emotional disconnect? Or if you feel, or if you personally, who are kind of steering this communication, if you're feeling like, what's missing here on an emotional level? That's what I think gets this person to say, well, really not anything. I come to think of it, things are actually, they've been great. They feel good. I'm pretty content emotionally. Got it? So it's almost like you jump in quickly, you take that chance, it's risky, to focus on, to pinpoint, is there a problem here? Where is there a disconnect? And underneath is judgment, which is Pluto. Okay. Pluto right around here is stationing direct. So he's kind of guiding you to that, any reconciliation that's needed, any kind of repair, if there are apologies made. We do have this little page of cups that can be an apology. Then with the judgment card, we have the forgiveness. So there's a little bit of that for some of you, might be built into it. Not all of you, but some of you, right? But I feel it's Pluto guiding the transformation as he stations direct right at this time on the 13th. Yeah. Right when Venus moves into Libra. And so there is the Libra energy that you'll be operating from week 3 to week 4. We do have you needing to that very level-headedness, because we've got some anxiety, some uncertainty, that Two of Pentacles, almost like you're going to be stalling for time, because you then kind of have some, this is a lot. We got a lot. They're coming at me with this Ace of Wands. All of a sudden, they've kind of flipped, and you do a little bit of a role reversal. Even though you're staying sort of dead center, you're trying to keep your wits about you, you kind of fall into a little bit of uncertainty, anxiety, worry. The Two of Pentacles, almost like, what have I done? Like, all of a sudden, this person is gangbusters, and now I need to sort of get my wits about me quick, fast, in a hurry, which is why the Nine of Pentacles makes sense, because it's like that realization that you're still you, and you don't have to get sucked into the energy of your person. If you can maintain your boundaries, your autonomy, you're like, let me get my thoughts together now, because I've calmed this person down. Great, but then they've ramped up, and now I need to kind of calm the energy. That is what I'm feeling for October, because we're shifting from Libra to Scorpio. It is one of the more challenging changes of mansion. We're coming out of, Libra, beautiful, balanced, relational. And then we've got Scorpio, where we're kind of like dive right off the high dive, like into the gorge, the bottomless pit. So I liked when I asked, why is the Nine of Pentacles, like, what's more energy around her, supporting her? It's the Queen of Cups. So we need that water. It's good. It's talking about, emotional availability, holding space, being a little bit more self-nurturing, obviously operating from compassion and all of that. But I'm feeling that she is in particular here supporting in Nine of Pentacles, saying, do what you feel most comfortable doing. because you're going to have a little bit of like a, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what have I done? And you're going to need that sort of comfort of, yeah, I got this. I'm good. I am my own person. I know what it is that I can manifest, what I'm ready for, what I'm not, where I need more space, where I want to be closer. And the Queen of Cups will bring all that softer energy after what feels like a bumpy last week and a half of the month for you. Okay? Or 2 weeks. Yeah, week and a half. Okay? And then for your connection, as I mentioned, King of Swords to the Ace of Swords feels good. I want to see how that shifts here. Ace of Swords to the Eight of Wands. Right? Ten of Pentacles. So the beauty here is that you've got you've both got integrity coming into the month. You both really have good intentions and overall want the best for each other. I feel you get a little bit more strategic, and that opens the epiphany. The Ace of Swords is now, it's like between you, like, oh, holy shit, this could really happen. Oh my God. Page of Pentacles, one step at a time, and the Six of Wands, really beautiful. So the communication will shift based on this insight that kind of comes in here around week 2 when we've got Venus moving into Libra. That's great. We've got Pluto stationing direct. Perfect. It's going to rule this Ace of Swords. We've got the thoughts, perceptions, communication all around the future like you wanted, but about the journey. Like, yeah, this is new. We're going to have to take it one step at a time. There's a lot to learn here. So the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, is what I like to say about the Page of Pentacles. And from the bottom of the deck, playing out behind the scenes, you've got an opportunity here to find your middle ground with each other. If you need a reconciliation, that will happen. That's why this Page of Cups and Judgment are also here for those of you that have some, apology, forgiveness, redemption to take care of. But it also feels more like it's that triumph, that moment where you say, wow, we made it through something that was pretty dicey, and we kind of came to terms, and we reached the same point, same perception of where things are headed. We're going to take it one step at a time. That's great. But it feels fresh and new, and it brings us into some form of agreement. We're agreed on it. And that in and of itself is a big victory. And then we've got the Eight of Wands in week 3 to the 10 of Wands as we close out October. Queen of Pentacles, love it. Page of Wands, love that too. 3 of Pentacles, yeah, we were in agreement. We're on the same page. We want the same thing. We're building a solid foundation. We're beginning to be more invested in what's to come. And I want an extra card on the 10 of Wands. I feel the 10 of Wands, hold on, yeah. I feel the 10 of Wands represents a relief of something, right? The release and then the relief that you get when you offload something that's been weighing on both of you, and you come through and say, this is exactly how it was supposed to go. And now we can sort of trust that there's a bigger plan, that the heaviness is behind us. We're releasing it. We're not carrying it into November. And that is by divine design. It's It was what was destined. So with the Eight of Wands, communication will be refreshing. I do feel the Queen of Pentacles is a little more grounded, solid, pointing to that sort of I got this kind of energy. It might be shared between the two of you. Queen of Pentacles is a little bit more rooted. Home base comes to mind when I think of the Queen of Pentacles. She's also talking about some self-care as well. So there may be a little bit of a need to sort of bring yourselves, because this is where everything's kind of starting to ramp up in that week 3 and get a little bit ahead of you, and you got to kind of pull it back down to earth, as I say. And that's how that Queen of Pentacles is feeling to me. A little more grounded, a little more rooted. And but yet followed by the Page of Wands is the excitement, is the, oh my gosh, this feels so good, it's fun, it's light, it's flirty, because we know where we're headed. We're on the same page. We're, beginning to build this thing that feels like it really could go the distance, that it could work. We're really beginning a life partnership here. And that's received and experienced in a positive, optimistic, lighter way than all this heaviness that you've both been sort of just buckling under. And it's almost as if the message is, I knew you'd get there in divine time. Everything in divine time. So that is the month of October. I hope it enlightened you, gave you food for thought, and that you're feeling it in a supportive way. Wow, this has gone on a long time. Am I hallucinating that? No. And so if you want to follow me to the extended, if you have a membership, you already get this. The extended will go all around the zodiac, so Aries through Pisces, and I will do smaller mini spreads for each sign, and that's good for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for the month of October based on what came through here. Okay, so you'll kind of know what you're dealing with for October, and the link to that is below. As I said, if you're in a membership, you already have it. You got to go into moments.com and get to your new moon, your monthly energy update collection. Okay, and that is what I have. All the best to you in the month of October, and I'm headed to the extended. I'll see you there in a second. Bye for now.